with the DRF race of the day for Wednesday, December the 27th. We kick off a 50-cent pick 5 at Tampa Bay Downs with race number 5. Two-year-olds going 1 mile on the turf. Let's take a look at this field. It's a $32,000 starter allowance with a $32,000 claiming option. And the number 6, Lord Knows, is 7-2 on the morning line. And Lord knows that this horse really took to the turf last time out. It was his first race on the lawn, and he ran away and hid from a group of maiden claimers. If he runs that race right back, he's going to be very tough, but he is a tepid morning line favorite. We throw up the Timeform US pace projector. Our friends at Timeform US believe that this pace might heat up and that Lord Knows will be part of the pace. I think Group Ticket, the 3, who was up close to a fast pace, actually said it last time out. I think he's going to try to make the lead once again with maybe the 6, Lord Knows, sitting just off it. Keep an eye on the number 5, a horse coming off a little bit of a layoff, stretching out in distances and switching turf. That's Fighter Like Cute, and this is a horse that also could show some early speed. If the pace is hot, keep an eye on the number 1. Real Solution, a horse that's taken a little bit of a drop in class. He returned to turf last time out, and he finished behind a couple of these. Just really didn't do his best running that day. The pace was fast for him. It didn't look like the trip was bad at all, and he just didn't fire his best shot in the stretch. Now, his lone win came on a wet dirt track. His 2 prior turf races have not been good, but he is getting class relief. He draws a good post, and he might get another favorable race shape. The pace should be fast. That being said, I think 4-1 on the morning line is a little bit light for Real Sensation, so if he goes off anywhere close to those odds, I'd fade him a little bit. The number 2 is Tap the Sky, and this horse is trying turf for the first time. His sire, Ransom the Moon, wins 6% with his turf routers, but the dam won a couple of times on the turf. This horse is coming off of a victory at FanDuel on the dirt. It was over a sloppy track, but it was at a mile, and the third-place finisher from that race came back to win at Turfway Park in a $7,500 maiden claimer on their synthetic surface with a 41 Beyer speed figure. His Beyer speed figures are very light. He's going to need to run a career best as he switches to turf for the first time. Group Ticket is the number 3, and he is expected to be among the pace setters, if not the outright pace setter in this race. His first start on turf was his most recent race. He had to go very fast in the early portion to make the lead, but he tired very badly. And if you look back at our Timeform US pace projector, we're expecting another fast pace. He might be close to it. He's going to have to show greater stamina. That was his turf debut. He can take a step forward now with that experience under his girth, but 5-1 to me seems a little bit light. I wanted to see a little more from Group Ticket's turf debut. Mainstream Sellout is up next, and this horse ran 3rd in his most recent start. We're going to watch that race right now. It was a starter allowance at Gulfstream Park, going 1 mile and 70 yards, and he ran okay to be 3rd, giving an even finish. Another horse that needs a little bit of a Beyer boost, but I think he's dirtied up as it pertains to his turf and route ability. His first turf start came going 5.5 furlongs at Colonial, and that might have just been a little bit too short for him. They then tried Boys in a stakes race, the Kitten's Joy, and then last time out, she ran okay in that synthetic race. She's going to be taking on males once again. So it does seem like it's a little bit of a tough spot for Mainstream Sellout, but I think she's a bit dirtied up on form, and maybe she can outrun her 8-1 morning line odds. The number 5 is a horse trying turf for the first time, Fighter Like Cute, and this is a horse that is by Leofric, a first crop stallion. I think the Leofrics are going to be okay on turf. He's by Candy Ride. The dam has thrown 1 turf runner that did not win, but this is the female family of Quiet Resolve, who is a Canadian turf champion. This colt looked good last time out, going gate to wire at Monmouth, going 5.5 furlongs for a $40,000 tag. Now, he has have to deal with a layoff, a surface switch, and a stretch out in distance, but I think there is enough turf pedigree that maybe this horse at a price is one you might want to consider, at the very least on the bottom of your single race exotics. Lord Knows is the number 6, and here's his turf debut that we talked about in the open. Sat just off a very fast pace, saved ground in a loose pocket, got to the outside and just blew them away in the stretch. Very visually impressive to score with a 65 Beyer speed figure. In his debut, he ran on dirt at Monmouth, and he lost to Fighter Like Cute, but he seems like he's found his niche on the turf. He's going to get close to the pace. He figures to be in the thick of things turning for home, and is an extremely logical contender. The number 7 is Deep Strike. Strike, another horse coming off of a maiden win on the turf. This race was at Horseshoe, Indianapolis back in late September, and I thought he did some good things in here. They went pretty quick for the opening quarter mile for that class level, 23-1. He stayed very close to the pace, made a move on the outside, and he stays about his business to win. The sixth place horse would come back to win on dirt at Oaklawn Park for a $20,000 tag, but did so with a very respectable 76 Beyer speed figure. Deep Strike was claimed out of that race by a barn that's gone 4 for the last 11 off the claim. That's 36%, with a $2.49 return on investment, and 10 of 11 of those horses have hit the board. I think Deep Strike seems like a very solid runner in this group. Off a little bit of a break with the tactical speed to set up shop just off the early leaders. Out of the Dark is the number 8. This horse returned off a 2-month layoff last time out for $75,000. Faced a couple of these. He did stay close to a pretty solid pace, but he also tired badly in the stretch. It's now 2 starts against winners where he hasn't shown much. He's a horse that's going to have to take a step forward. The Honeyman is the number 9. He's going to try turf for the first time for trainer Jose D'Angelo. He's by Summer Front. Good turf sire. 13% winners with turf routers. I just look at this family, though, and it just seems to me like it's all dirt on the bottom. This horse scored last time out at Tampa Bay Downs on the dirt. They're going to try to switch to the turf here. It looks like he's improving with each and every start. I want to see one on the grass, though, before I completely commit. The number 10 is Uncle Kenny, and I think Uncle Kenny deserves strong consideration in this race. His last running line doesn't look very good, but if you go back and you watch the replay of that race, I think you'll see that he had excuses. Going into the first turn, he was bumped very, very hard. And it looked like the jock might have even lost the irons just for a second. After being bumped so hard and so wide, this horse got lit up like a Christmas tree, and he rushed up to push a very fast pace on the outside. He understandably tired in the stretch. I just don't think that trip worked out for him at all. He still finished ahead of 3 of these rivals. It's not a great post position from the outside, but Uncle Kenny has shown a little something in his career. They liked him enough to throw him in a couple of stakes races at Presque Isle Downs over their synthetic surface. Personally, I like him a lot better going 2 turns on the turf, and I think Uncle Kenny's going to run a lot better than his most recent running line indicates. Before we get to my top selection, please click the subscribe button on the Daily Racing Form YouTube channel for the latest DRF videos. Top pick time for our Wednesday race of the day. We kick off a 50-cent pick 5 at Tampa Bay Downs. I liked what I saw from Deep Strike last time out at Horseshoe, Indianapolis. Beat a horse that came back to win with a big Beyer speed figure, albeit on dirt at Oaklawn Park. Now going out for a barn that's done very well off the claim recently. I went 7, 5, 6, and 10 in our Wednesday DRF race of the day. Best of luck.